Howdy YouTube, how you doing? This is my first video today, or my first video in my new Honda Element. Ooh, Honda Element, it is very sexy. I like it. I'm driving around a toaster. I think it's pretty cool. So what I wanted to talk about today was the fact that yesterday Prince died. And I'm really taken back at how sad this is actually making me feel. You know, I think it's because Prince was part of the soundtrack of my early life. You know, when I was in high school, I was a huge Prince fan. And I remained a Prince fan my entire life. You know, I liked listening to everything that he put out, even the new stuff. When he'd come out with new stuff, I'd seek it out, just because he was such an influential part of my young adult life and my late teens. I mean, his music was, or is, I should say, so sexy, you know? So sexy and so, I mean, for me, when I was a teen, you know, the first time I heard, like, Darling Nikki, I was just like, oh my God! You know? Really opened my eyes to a much more sensual world, you know? And Controversy played an important role in my life, that song. That song has, like, deep meaning for me. I'm not going to get into it, but it does. And I absolutely love that song. And then, of course, all the other ones, Raspberry Beret and 1999 and, you know, just all the things, all the popular songs that he made, too. I love the guy. And I'm just so sad because I feel like he still had something left. Like, there was something unfinished there that we were going to get gifted with. And maybe we still will, because, you know, from what I understand, he was working on a biography. And I think he was writing music along with that biography. So if that truly is the case, we may still see one more thing come from him, you know. But I'm really bummed that he's gone. So right now, up in heaven, he's joined the host of greats that are singing praises to God. And I mean, can you imagine like being in heaven right now and listening to a concert by a mix of Johnny Cash, Elvis, John Lennon, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, and Prince? Along with all the other greats that have gone before them. All those awesome jazz greats that have passed away. Man, that has got to be some kind of crazy awesome concert going on right now. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm bummed. I'm sure a lot of people are. I'm sure a lot of you, especially friends of mine, you know, who've been friends with me for years and years and years and years. I know you're feeling the sadness too, because you had the same soundtrack that I had. You know, during high school, my soundtrack was Duran Duran. It was Prince, George Michael, Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, Spandau Ballet, Flock of Seagulls, Human League, Toto, Europe. Man. I mean, just thinking about those things, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Relax, don't do it. It's crazy because, like, a lot of those songs that came out at that time really just broke down all kinds of barriers about sexuality and sex in music and that, the taboo of the 50s in talking about sex or depicting sex that got broken down by, a lot of different movies. And then, the 60s revolution and the barriers that were broken down during that time. And then you got to the 80s and it really just exploded. I mean, you couldn't have the music that you have today if you didn't have all those guys breaking down the barriers back in the 80s, and the 60s and the 50s, of course. But the 80s really did something. And something that I really loved about Prince, too, was in a time when there was still a lot of racial tension in America, Prince was reaching out, and if you looked at his band was predominantly white, but they were funky. You know what I mean? They had the funk. And it kind of, for me, it made me be able to identify with R&B a little bit more, I don't know, maybe it's my autism and my weird way of thinking about things, but seeing white people and black people making awesome music together took my tolerance of all kinds of things to a higher level. You know what I mean? I mean, I can remember thinking, what an amazing world we're seeing right now, where black people and white people are coming together and making music and changing the world, changing our country. And even though other people had done it before him, there's something about the way that he did it that just impacted it for me. You know what I mean? Or put impact on me. Had an impact on me. What am I trying to say even? So that's all really I wanted to talk about. Just wanted to ramble on about that. I think it's part of my grieving process is to just talk about it and get it out. So I hope you all are doing well. I want to send out a special shout out to my buddy Sean, who had surgery yesterday. And I want to say I hope you're doing well, and I prayed for you, buddy. And I know you're going to heal up great and everything's going to be awesome. And I also wanted to say a shout out to his wife Brandy, who I know is going to be playing the nurse for the next few weeks probably. And you're an awesome woman, let me tell you. You're a good person. So that's it. Have a great day, everybody. Okay, bye.